Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Slow English Talk. Before we start, remember that you can read everything I'm saying in the episode description. Today, I want to tell you about America's oldest mystery. It's a story that happened over 400 years ago, but we still don't know how it ended. Imagine you go on a trip for 3 years. When you come back, your entire town is empty. All the people are gone. The houses are still there, but no one is inside. There are no bodies, no signs of fighting, no clues about what happened. The only thing you find is one word carved into a tree: Croatoan. Where did everyone go? This actually happened in 1590 in what we now call North Carolina. It's the story of the lost colony of Roanoke, and it remains one of America's greatest unsolved mysteries. Let me take you back to 1587. At this time, Native American tribes lived on this land, and Europeans were just beginning to explore it. England wanted to start a colony in the New World. A man named John White was chosen to lead this colony. He brought 117 people with him, men, women, and children. They sailed across the Atlantic Ocean and settled on Roanoke Island, off the coast of what is now North Carolina. Among the colonists was John White's daughter, Eleanor. Soon after they arrived, Eleanor gave birth to a baby girl named Virginia. Virginia was the first English child born in America. But life in the New World was much harder than expected. The colonists didn't have enough food. They didn't know how to grow crops in this new land. They had problems with some Native American tribes. Winter was coming, and they weren't prepared. John White made a difficult decision. He would sail back to England to get supplies: food, medicine, and tools. Before leaving, White made an agreement with the colonists. If they had to leave Roanoke Island, they would carve the name of their new location into a tree. If they were in danger, they would add a cross above the name. In 1587, White sailed back to England, promising to return quickly. But White's plan went terribly wrong. When he reached England, the country was preparing for war with Spain. The government said all ships had to stay to defend England. No ships could leave for America. White tried everything to get permission to return to his family. He begged officials. He asked wealthy friends for help, but no one would help him. The war lasted much longer than expected. Month after month, White waited. He must have thought about his daughter and granddaughter every day. Finally, in 1590, 3 whole years later, White got on a ship back to America. What had happened to the colonists during those 3 years? Were they still alive? When White reached Roanoke Island in August 1590, something felt wrong. He didn't see any people. He didn't see smoke from fires. Everything was quiet. He went ashore and walked to where the colony should be. What he found shocked him. The colonists were gone. All 117 people had disappeared. The houses were still there, but empty. Some buildings had been taken apart, as if the colonists planned to use the wood somewhere else. He searched everywhere. He called out names, but there were no bodies, no signs of fighting, no clues about what happened. Then he found something strange. Carved into a wooden post was the word Croatoan. On a nearby tree, someone had carved crow, as if they started to write Croatoan, but didn't finish. White remembered his agreement. The colonists had promised to carve their new location if they left, but he didn't see a cross, which would have meant danger. What is Croatoan? Croatoan was the name of a nearby island, about 50 miles south. Today we call it Hatteras Island. A friendly Native American tribe lived there, a tribe that had helped the English before. White thought this was good news. Maybe the colonists had moved there and were safe. White wanted to sail to Croatoan Island immediately. But then a terrible storm began. The wind pushed his ship out to sea. When the storm ended, the ship was damaged. The captain said it was too dangerous to continue. They had to return to England. White begged to go to Croatoan Island, but the captain refused. So White sailed back to England, never knowing what happened to his family. He never returned to America, and died a few years later, still wondering about the lost colony of Roanoke. What really happened? For over 400 years, people have tried to solve this mystery. Here are the main theories. Maybe the colonists moved to Croatoan Island and lived with the friendly tribe. Over time, they might have married Native Americans and become part of their community. Maybe hostile tribes attacked the colony, but why were there no bodies or signs of fighting? Maybe they built boats and tried to cross the ocean, but their boats might have sunk in storms. Maybe they all got sick or ran out of food, but again, where are the bodies? Modern investigations. Even today, scientists and historians are trying to solve this mystery. Archaeologists have found some interesting things on Roanoke Island and nearby areas. They've found pieces of pottery and metal that might have belonged to the colonists. Some researchers think they have found evidence that the colonists did go to Croatoan Island. They've found European objects buried there that might be from the 1580s. DNA tests have been done on some Native American families in the area. A few families have DNA that might come from European ancestors from the right time period. But none of this proves what happened. The evidence is interesting, but it's not definitive. The lost colony of Roanoke has become part of American culture. It represents the mystery and danger of early American history. This story reminds us how difficult life was for the first European settlers. The word Croatoan has become famous in American popular culture. You can find it in books, movies, and TV shows as a symbol of mystery and the unknown. Today, you can visit Roanoke Island and see where the lost colony lived. There's a museum and even a play performed every summer that tells their story. But the mystery remains unsolved. We may never know exactly what happened to those 117 people who disappeared over 400 years ago. Thanks for listening to Slow English Talk. Keep exploring those mysteries. Until next time.